The ICAT Virtual Career Academy is pleased to present this career enhancement tool for your advancement. The topic of this session is overview of two proven career advancement strategies: informational interview and professional portfolio. Who is ICAT Professional Services and who is ICAT Virtual Career Academy? ICAT Professional Services is a social enterprise with the purpose of creating jobs in our community by enhancing employability and strengthening job creators. For more information about ICAT, please visit our website at www.icat.net. ICAT Professional Services is the home of the ICAT Virtual Career Academy. The ICAT Virtual Career Academy is dedicated to enhancing employability anytime, anywhere. For more information about the Virtual Career Academy, please visit www.icat.net/BAcademy. This career enhancement session features two proven career advancement strategies: informational interview and professional portfolio. Enjoy.
Today's special career webinar features a proven approach from ICAT Virtual Academy's curated list of 6 employability enhancement strategies. So, our special guest presenter is our very own Gabe Hamda. Gabe Hamda is President and CEO of ICAT Professional Services and Career Ambassador of Community Career Promoter. As one of the architects of employability enhancement programs, Gabe's life mission is to be a cheerleader and a catalyst for the career advancement of the people around him. So Gabe, why don't you give us a recap of this series?
Thank you so much for that warm introduction. I want to tell you, some of you may benefit from this presentation, and some of you may share what you learn here with others. And our idea is to, spark your thinking for your promotability, employability, so that you are gainfully employed or you have promotional opportunities. So this includes, there are 2 proven strategies for career enhancement. One is informational interviews, and the second one is professional portfolios. These 2 career strategies have been a lifeline for me. When I was in grad school, the very first class I took, I have PhD in instructional design. So I had an amazing professor who, with one of the classes I learned, we did a project. We did a capstone project, and we produced a learning program or a training program. And I had the most lucrative student job on campus at Florida State. Guess what I did? I was just showing around. I'll take a portfolio. I just took what I did for that professor and showed around to employers. And I was getting excellent and very lucrative assignments on campus, better than any graduate student. Why? I was able to show a sample of work that was very impressive. It was impressive because, number one, the assignment had so many components with feedback from the professor. It looked fantastic. It was corrected and edited and looked great with input from my professor. It was, I got an A+ for it. So it gave me an opportunity to say, listen, I got an A+ on this project, and this is the kind of work I do for you. So I was being hired by various professors to redesign their courses. So that's kind of a portfolio, is showing an example of your work as a proof of your capability. It's always easy to say, I can do this for you, I can do that for you. But when you can show what you can do, it speaks louder, okay? So it gives you credibility. Now, on informational interviews today, since that's kind of what we're going to deal with in detail, but I'll give you one story. Again, when I was in grad school, I had one of my classmates arranged a meeting, just an informal lunch meeting with one of her friends. So we had lunch. I didn't know what I was doing except we had lunch, which gave me an opportunity to share with her, Carolyn is her name, to share with her things about myself. And she was sharing with me what she did. So it's kind of like, that's what I call, it's an informal conversation with someone you referred by a colleague or your neighbor or someone you know who works somewhere. And guess what? A week later, a position became available at Carolyn's organization. She already met me and she was impressed by what I was able to tell her about myself. And guess what? I was in that job a week later. So informal interview is having a conversation with someone informally without a job opening and, leave a good impression or, learn a few tips that will advance your career. So that, in a little bit, that's pretty much what we covered last time. And hopefully today we'll get deeper into informational interviews.
Fantastic. So why don't we go ahead and talk about informational interviews? So you believe that informational interviews and professional portfolios are the greatest contributors to your career success. So why don't we start by talking about what is an informational interview and how does it differ from, say, a mock interview and, a real interview?
Wonderful. Informational interview is informal interview with someone who is not necessarily hiring. Okay, it is someone who is potentially in a position of hiring. They work for some organization, and the purpose of that is for you to get an idea about what that employer is looking for, and also is to have an opportunity for you to kind of lightly sell yourself. That's what informational interview is. The difference between informational interviews and mock interview you can do with your cat, you can do with your dog, you can do it with your family member, or you can do in front of a mirror. Okay, just kind of like a mock interview is kind of like practicing in a non-real situation. Now, informational interview is with someone you've met informally, who may be a neighbor, who may be someone who you may have been introduced to, who works in an organization. And so you are getting a real feel what it's like to work in that organization. And also it kind of gives you an opportunity to lightly market yourself. The difference between that and the real interview, in real interview, there is a job opening, there is a job announcement, and you are showing up for a formal interview. Okay, so you are bidding against, 2 other people, or 5 other people, or 10 other people, or 100 other people, or 12 other people. In informational interview, you are requesting to talk to someone just to get an idea about working in their organization. Okay, so those are the differences.
So why are you making this presentation now? What is the importance of us knowing about informational interviews right now, in the climate that we're in?
So the reason is this. The reason is I just read in Washington Post a couple of days ago over the weekend that, in America, there are 10 million job openings where employers are looking for, people with talents, 10 million of them. And guess what?
Wow.
There are 8 million people looking for work. 8 million for work. So what that means is there is a gap. There is a gap between, quite frankly, in my opinion, despite the unemployment rate situation, I think there is a talent crisis worldwide. I can tell you, ICAT professional services, there are some positions for which we are desperately looking for talents all the time, always looking. So every organization is looking for special talent in this climate. And at the same time, there are people out there with certain skills who have not reskilled or who have not repurposed their skills. And they are out there looking. And they are looking, they say, oh my goodness, nobody is interviewing me. No one is hiring me. No one is interviewing me. So there is that gap. So in my opinion, the reason this topic is so important now is I believe people have all the skills. Sometimes it's a matter of getting it out and saying, I have the skills and speaking to it. I think that's what's lacking. A lot of people, when I speak with them, they pretty much sabotage themselves. They say, you know what, I have, coordination skills. And then they just say, you know what, I haven't done it and whatever. So I think, doing this is going to give people confidence to freely and informally and with confidence to speak about their talents and sell themselves so that, when it is real interview, they have practice of saying it, selling themselves. So it is kind of doing an inventory of all the skills and talents you have and to share with others. So at this time, there is this big skill crisis, meaning organizations are looking for talent. And at the same time, there are people who are out there looking. And also, this is not only for first-time job seekers, Ramya. There are people who may be stuck in a position and, and they want to advance. So this is also helpful for them to look for those opportunities and kind of, help themselves become, appealing to employers. ICAP Professional Services is dedicated to, as a social enterprise, to create jobs. And one way we do that is, one person at a time, for a person to identify, their talents and their aptitudes and, align their talents and aptitude to, a high demand job position. So you can align one person at a time. So if you are doing this as, at a national level or a community level or a state level or regional level, is to say, okay, here is a high demand positions and for, people who come out of schools to be trained in those areas. And also for, for people who are already in a mid-career to make adjustments and to pivot, like businesses are pivoting. And also we encourage also people to pivot their skills. So I think those are just ways, and there are plenty of resources. There are, Ramya spoke about the workforce agencies or American Job Centers. The American Job Centers are within 10 to 15 miles of every one of you. Everyone in America, there is an American Job Center within 10, 15 miles of where you live. You go there, and I think you get tips on how you can align or upskill with small training, not a whole lot of training, upskill and be aligned with the demand of the time that is consistent with the person's aptitude.
Great. I hope that answers everyone's questions. So let's talk about the benefits of informational interviews. So let's look at this from three perspectives, just to kind of give it some structure. So what are the benefits of informational interviews for, say, potential employers?
So from an employer's standpoint, someone who is talking to you who's just trying to get an idea, maybe your ideal candidate, okay? That may be the candidate, the talent you need. So that's one advantage from an employer standpoint. The second thing is, in informational interview, it's relaxed. It's not based on a position that's available. It gives an employer an idea what today's employees are looking for. That is very valuable. Let's say if the employees today don't want to work, full-time and they want to work part-time because they want to take care of family. Maybe they want to have a business on the side. They just want to work a little bit. Maybe they want to work for multiple employers. So it kind of helps the employer know what today's employees are looking for, okay? So there are really shortage of very talented people. So it helps organizations adjust their requirements. And let's say if employees are looking for, working, part-time, whatever, and what getting benefits, you can make adjustments. So it kind of helps organizations adjust their expectations of the kinds of things employees are looking for nowadays.
I think that was a great, succinct way to put it. And so, with that, what are the benefits of informational interviews for career seekers?
So, the obvious benefit is for the career seekers. For the career seeker, I don't want to tell you another story. So when I was in school, I just happened to be kind of like, doing school was not enough for me. So there were recruiters who came to campus to recruit talent. And when they did, I interviewed. Okay? I interviewed. And when the job offer came, I declined because I could not work. So when the next interview came, I interviewed again. I interviewed. And then when the job offer came, I declined. So I did a dozen or so in a period of a year. And guess what, Ramya? I became good at it. And this is common sense. If you want to be a basketball star, you just don't show up one day and say, hey, I want to be an NBA basketball player. You practice, you drill. So interviewing is a way you master telling your story, your way of mastering to listen to what the interviewer is asking. So it gives you practice. It also gives you an idea what employers are looking for. So it gives you ease of selling yourself. It gives you instantly understanding and giving them relevant answers. It gives you an idea of what employers like and what they don't like. So this is a lifeline. If you are looking for a job, a professional job for the first time, if you are looking for a promotional opportunity, I would say do as many of these as possible. So my thing is, for informational, if you need our help, please reach out to us. You know how to reach us. Just reach out to us through all the contact information there. And quite frankly, you really don't need us. Talk to your neighbors. Talk to your neighbors. Maybe there is a neighbor who is not talking to you. Maybe there is a neighbor who looks grouchy. Maybe there is a neighbor who looks upset. Guess what? One day, just, find out what they do. Say hi and find out where they work and say, hey, listen, can I have information interview with you? And if they say, what is that? Share with them what we just said. Hey, I just want to have a informal conversation, what it's like to work at your, place of work, and just maybe get some idea. So I would say the greatest benefit is for, a potential job seeker to get that experience and to just have an ease of saying nice things about yourself.
All right. So what are some examples of questions that potential employers can ask?
Fantastic. Good question, Ramya. So some of the questions that potential employers can ask, a career seeker. I know some of you here qualify as potential employers. What that means is, if you work for an organization and you can talk to someone and give them an idea. So some of the questions potential employers can ask, I'll give about 5. One is, you can ask the person you are talking to, what are you looking for? Okay? What are you looking for? Are you looking for part-time job, full-time job, remote work, on-site work? What kind of job? Are you looking for a software engineer, logistics coordinator, a brain surgeon? Whatever it is, just ask that question. Okay, that's one. Now, the second question you can ask is, how do you want to work? Some people want to work remotely. Some people want to work on-site. So how they want to work, their choice of how they want to work is another question you want to ask. You may also can ask, what kind of pay are you looking for? Are you looking for $100,000? Are you looking for $50,000? You can have that question. It's not binding. It's just kind of getting to know what the person is looking for. You can also ask the person their unique skills. They may say, okay, I'm a software engineer. I have studied, psychology, whatever it is. Ask them what their superpower is. What are you really, really, really good at? Are you good in organization? Are you good in listening to people? Are you good in community outreach? So kind of learning their superpower. Last but not least, maybe the things they want and the things they don't want. So they may say, I'm kind of like a loner. I want to work alone. I don't want to work in a team. I'm nervous, whatever. So it's kind of learning anything unique about them. So those are questions you ask. Now, one thing I say, Ramya, before we answer what kind of questions you can ask, as an potential employee, is, we don't want this like, all the questions in a row. So the two can take turns like a conversation, like a dance, okay? Like a dance, player may ask a question, so you can build on it. So it's kind of like a back and forth so that it is still kept informal.
What questions would potential career seekers ask?
Okay. As a career seeker, I'm assuming, let's say, Ramya and I are with the ICAT Professional Services Virtual Career Academy. If you want to talk to us, you want to, hopefully you've gone to the website and have some idea. So, I wouldn't begin and say, what's the name of your business and what do you do? I mean, hopefully you've done your homework. Okay. But the thing you want to ask is, what are the big priorities? What are you working on? So you can ask that kind of question so that they can tell you, this is our biggest priority is we are working, on, maybe buying a new business or expanding in a international. So you kind of want to know the priorities of that organization. You also want to know, what that person does within that organization. You may find out that person is the most influential person. Ask them, sometimes I would make it all about the organization. Also make it about the person, what the person does and what they enjoy, kind of, a little personal. The third question you want to ask is, what's the work culture? Is it a formal organization, very hierarchical, or is it a team-oriented? Is it a relaxed environment? So you want to find out about the culture of that organization. You also may want to find out, the kind of people they hire, the kind of skills they are looking for, okay? You want to also find out, what that organization is looking forward to. So you want to stay on the positive side. So you don't want to bring up any scars or any situations that may be uncomfortable to speak about. Let's say, if that organization may be in the news for something negative, that's the kind of stuff you don't want to bring up. But you want to ask, what kind of growth opportunity, what kind of prospect are they looking forward to? And people will be happy to share with you. So you want to get an idea about, the inner workings of that organization.
Yeah. So what would you say are the potential outcomes of informational interviews?
Great question. The potential outcome, let me mention some of the maybe unintended. Guess what? Let's say, they say, hey, we're looking for, civil engineers, or we're looking for, medical review nurses, or they may say we are looking for QA analysts. And you may not have that skill, but you may have a friend. So one of the side benefits is you may find out something that one of your friends is looking for, and you can really be an angel for someone else. So kind of by having your ears, you're not only there for yourself, but you may bring someone else a referral. And also, they may say, hey, we really are looking for, special nurses who can review medical, decisions or something like that. And then someone. And, you are doing them a favor by referring them good people, So I think some of those are the side benefits. As Ramya and I spoke about, Ramya, I guess you and I did informational interview when we first met 6 months ago. And so you may land a job. The organization may like you and you may like them. So it may lead to a job position. The example I gave you early on in my own career, when I had lunch, through a classmate, a week before the job opening, became a reality. So, you may have a job offer and you will know whether you want to work for this organization. So these are some of the potential consequences of informational interview. Now, I don't want to say, let's say if things don't work out, you don't shut the door. You never know. 6 months may lapse, a year may lapse, and they may think about you. There are people who call me a year after I meet them. They say, I still remember you, and can you do this for me? So, good things can come out of it. Not to mention, you are learning what to do and what not to do in your formal interview.
Great. Okay, so let's move on to our fun section, the role play.
Yes.
So, Gabe, would you like to take the lead on this?
Yes, I'm going to take a lead. So now, with that said, so Ramya, I understand you are, thank you so much, by the way, for making the time to come speak to me. And I understand you are, exploring some opportunities. So tell me what you are looking for.
Okay, great. So what am I looking for? Well, I am looking to be a program manager at a social enterprise.
Oh my goodness, that's a magic word. A social enterprise is an organization that makes a difference, makes an impact. So you are looking for a program manager position. So Ramya,
exactly.
What do you want to know about the ICAT Virtual Career Academy there?
All right. Well, I would like to know, what are the top 3 priorities for ICAT for the remainder of this year?
Excellent question. Excellent question. Yeah. Yes. You don't want to say what do you guys do? Well, know by now what we do. So our top priorities for the remainder of the year. So I would say, Ramya, this is a true story. The ICAT Virtual Career Academy, one, we want to fully build the capacity of the virtual academy where someone from anywhere on earth, whether they are in Moscow or Shanghai or Dubai, Addis Ababa, Washington, D.C., Minnesota, can take our classes virtually, self-paced virtual. So we are building the capacity to have our classes ready. And also, Ramya, one of our other priorities is for ICAT Virtual Career Academy to be an approved training provider in 12 states, including international. So these places include, Washington, D.C., Maryland, Virginia, Georgia, Florida, Kansas, Missouri, I said Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Colorado, and international. So it is to be an approved training provider in these states. I think last is for us to have, full-time people like you on a full-time basis, have enough funding to have the most talented people that can advance the Virtual Career Academy in place. So we're looking for funding. So if any of you are listening and you have a ton of money or you want the lotto and you don't know where to invest, please look for no further than us. So those are the top priorities, Ramya. So with that said, so is there a particular role you enjoy based on your talents and things that make you happy?
I have always enjoyed teaching. And I think at this point, I would like to basically be a part of the Enhancing Employability Initiative and work with as many people as I can and help them get jobs, because I on a fundamental level, I believe that having a job and having some kind of income is key to self-worth. And I want people to feel good and to feel alive. And so that's kind of what I'm looking for.
Oh, that is music to my ears, Ramya. I think that it is an excellent way of, sharing, exactly what you're looking for, is to say, I enjoy working with people. I enjoy teaching. I enjoy making a difference, and kind of being honest with yourself and what makes you happy should come up in a session like this. So that's a good answer. And Ramya, we are looking for someone like you to advance the Virtual Career Academy, because the kind of people we want to help are people with the greatest employment barriers, to move them from the bottom up, whether it is people with the lowest income, whether first time college, whether it is at-risk youth, or whether it is people from the rural area, or whether it is people with disabilities, or whether it is people who've been, former inmates, or whether it is refugees who have cultural and language barriers. So I think someone like you will be so refreshing, who is non-judgmental, who really cares about people. So I think it will be a super duper honor for the ICAT Virtual Career Academy to have you as one of our leaders. So this is a match made in heaven. What else do you want to know about the Virtual Career Academy?
Well, my next question was actually going to be, what inspired you to get into professional services? So now that I've talked about why, I want to be a part of this, why don't you tell us why you're so passionate about helping career seekers?
No, with that said, my personal motivation, Rami, I think there is one thing about me. I think from childhood, I'm just a very optimistic person. I'm a very positive person. I see the light than the dark. And so I think, it just makes me happy when people are empowered. So I think I'm born as a cheerleader for people. A cheerleader not only when people are rising and scoring and achieving, but also a cheerleader when someone is struggling, so that I can amplify the strength and the superpower and the energy they have. So I think from childhood, I was that kind of person. So this just feeds my spirit, just like you. I think when you came to ICAT and you notice the difference we can make in people's life, and you said, this is where I belong. So that's the kind of environment I created, where it is nurturing, where we are cheerleading. So cheerleading for people and always seeing the strength a person has is something I enjoyed. And just the more I do it, the happier I get. And the happier I get, the more I do it. So it's just like one of those bubbles I live in.
Do you give English language tutoring?
That's an amazing question, because absolutely, this is one of the things we want to do, English language tutoring, English language proficiency, because I tell you what, we are preparing people. When I mentioned Moscow and Shanghai and Dubai and, Addis Ababa and Washington DC and Minnesota, I'm referring to a global marketplace of talents, okay? And so in this global market, no matter what your language is, your key to your success is your proficiency in English. Okay, no matter what language you speak, which is fantastic. So I would say, yes, we do. And we love to work with you and also bring you resources. And that's one of the things ICAT wants to do. English proficiency.
So, Gabe, tell us the major takeaways from today's webinar.
I think my biggest takeaway from this conversation is, when you keep engaging in a conversation, new ideas bubble up, new examples bubble up, thoughts of something you already have done bubble up. So the point being, as you talk more, as you feel freely, your talents kind of really come to the surface so that you can speak about yourself. One example is, when I spoke about, the interview I had that was arranged by one of my classmates for the job I landed. I never thought of that. I always speak about the back-to-back interviews I had with the recruiters at Florida State. And so when you are in a conversation, you think of something you've done. So in essence, in an interview, the power is giving an example of something you've done. It's telling people you are the greatest coordinator. Anyone can say that. But if you can tell a story of how you did it, that's how you get credibility. So I think the more you are in a conversation, the more ideas come to mind. So my takeaway is do engage in telling your story, do engage in a conversation so that it comes to your remembrance, all the talents, all the hidden talents that you have. So that's my takeaway, because the more I'm talking to someone and the more I'm telling a story, I've done it. So that's, telling a story of what you've done is your greatest selling point. So that's my takeaway.
Thank you all.
Have a great one. We'll see you next month. Bye-bye.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this session. More career resources are available at this channel. ICAP Professional Services is a social enterprise with the purpose of creating jobs in our community by enhancing employability and strengthening job creators. For more information about ICAP, please visit our website at www.icat.net. ICAP Professional Services is the home of the ICAT Virtual Career Academy. The ICAT Virtual Career Academy is dedicated to enhancing employability anytime, anywhere. For more information about the ICAT Virtual Career Academy, please visit www.icat.net/The Academy, VACADEMY. Make it a fantastic day.